I think in terms of HR capability, it is that stat that no one feels like they're equipped to deal with the DE&I challenge. So nothing is moving. It has been so slow over now decades. We need to look at the reasons why HR still doesn't feel so equipped, because they are still the holder, or perceived to be the holder, of DE&I in an organisation. So HR needs to get equipped faster. The profession is dominated by females, and by white females at that. So at its first lens, it's a really non-diverse population. It's interesting in terms of how you view that, because obviously there is a big push on gender diversity as much as there is other populations, other represented groups, ethnicity, disability, and so on. But it's interesting when you put the gender lens on that you could say it's incredibly undiverse. 70% of HR is white female. I guess what's interesting though is you flip that and say, what's the answer? How do we make HR more diverse? It can't be about trying to hire more men. That can't be the answer. We were working with a global pharmaceutical company, we have done for years. They are really pushing their DE&I agenda, and part of that was to launch a new global RFP for executive search. So obviously recruitment, hiring is a key way to bring diversity into an organisation. But one of the categories that they had on their RFP for diversity was men in HR. That just cannot be the solution. It has to be diversity in HR. So yes, HR needs to sort its own house out first, as it were, but it can't just be, as I keep saying, it can't just be to knee-jerk and sort out the gender piece. It has to be right across the board. You can look at countless photos of FTSE 100, Fortune 100 companies. You look at their board, you see the woman, maybe two women. You can almost guarantee they'll be the CHROs, because 60% of that population is female. So you think, wow, they are in a position of power to really do something about this. But it's also the functional roles as opposed to the commercial and leadership roles that the gender box seems to be ticked in. So the stats aren't bad for CIOs. They're not that bad for CFOs. And I'm saying they're bad, they're 20%. They're not anywhere up to parity, but there's a big difference. When you look at the boards, the executive leadership teams of these big companies, and you look at the commercial roles, the classic routes to CEO, that statistic drops to 9%. 9% of females hold commercial CEO route roles, and that's where the difference is. So whatever's happening, coming back to that original point around HR, the gender representation, the female representation in HR has not helped any gender representation, let alone the broader diverse DE&I agenda. It just hasn't managed to influence that at all over the years.